Hello and welcome to today's story time. Now, I've got one of these books here, and it's one of my books I like to read just before we go down to forest school. Now, I wonder why you think I like to read this book before we go down to forest school. What do you think this little boy is holding in his hand? That's it, he's holding a stick. And what do we find lots of down at forest school? Yeah, that's right, we find lots of sticks. Now, this little boy is called Stanley, and the story is called Stanley's Stick. Stanley stands on Stockport Station with his stick. Stanley always carries his stick with him. There he is with his stick. Stanley's stick was once part of something tall and grand, and it will never return. Where do you think that stick came from? That's it, a tree. But it still can be a stick as best as it can. Stanley has lots of stick activities, like pretending the stick is a whistle or a banana. That is quite straight. You don't have to be great to be great. Like pretending the stick is a match to catch the world aflame. There is games after sticky games. Look, it's a dinosaur that isn't extinct. It's a Stickosaurus. That's a good one. Stanley has tried out some names for his stick, like Starry and Moon, but those names were all the wrong shape. For a while he liked Stirry, but that is better for a spoon. Stanley's stick is good for writing in the sand, in language only Stanley can understand. Can you see he's written his name backwards? It says Stanley was here. And 4 times now he has to use his stick to pick up slugs from pavement, platforms and pathways. This saves them from the fate worse than feet. Ooh. Stanley's friend Bertie has some string, and sometimes they tie the string to the stick end and go pretend fishing. Because the fish are pretend, no fish get hurt, said Bertie. So, here is Stanley, standing on the station, taking his stick for a short stay at the side of the sea with his mum and dad. The train pulls in. There he is. Down at the sea, Stanley goes down to the side of the tide. His folks take stock of Stanley standing in the sand, stick in hand. What is he doing? What do you think he's going to do? I don't know. Let's have a look and find out. Maybe the boy thinks it's time for the stick to be taken for someone else to enjoy. Stanley hurls the stick into the wide tide. Gosh, what a tiny splosh for something that has been so big in Stanley's days. See, look, he's thrown it right the way out of here. The sea picks up the stick and tucks it into itself. Stanley is stickless. How do you think he's feeling now? Probably a bit sad, probably thinking, oh, I wish I never did that. Let's find out what happens next. The next morning, back at the spot on the beach, the tide is out. Stanley treads towards the spreading sea. Boats ride seaback out on the distance. Stanley decides to look for the interesting stick, for other sticks which have been carried, twiggy back upon the turning tide. Soon he stumbles upon a stick alone upon the shore. It is quite different from the stick he had before. It is Wonky. This stick is an unusual saxophone. Stanley thinks of home and begins to blurt a tune for Bertie. Fantastic. That's a good idea to use your stick. Oh, here we go. Now Stanley stares at the sea through his stick telescope. It is wonky, and this stick Stanley knows the name of. It is called a fantastic. Brilliant! I really enjoyed reading that story. I hope you enjoyed listening to it. See you tomorrow for your final story of the week. Bye!